This conversation that I just had with my 8-year-old, I thought that it was going to be a conversation that would be super weird, but it actually wasn't. So the Holy Spirit had been initiating me to actually talk to my daughter about what happened to me when I was a child. So he's like, tell her what happened to you when I was a child. I'm like, Holy Spirit, she's 8. Do I really need to tell her with regards to what happened to me when I was a child? And he's like, yeah, you don't know what you're doing, but I'm initiating you to tell her that this happened to you when you were a child. So now she understands that the reason why you said, mommy says, I don't want you to be talking to this person if you don't feel comfortable with regards to talking to that person, or just protecting her overall. She understands where you're coming from because this is something that you have gone through. He's also in showing me that in the generation of bloodline, when it comes on to women, because a lot of us are, whether we were molested or we were sexually abused when we were a child, we don't talk about it. And because we don't talk about it, or parents or mother might have been sexually abused. Her mother might have been sexually abused as well. And then you are sexually abused. And if you don't you don't have that conversation with your daughter, then she's going to be marked by the enemy as well. Now, when you talk about it now, in the enemy, because when you talk about it now and you give light to the situation, then like, okay, this happened to me, and you tell your daughter, no, she will have that in the back of her mind, or the Holy Spirit, that's a seed that you have been planting, that this happened to you when you were a child. So everything that you do with regards to that, you're now protecting her. And a lot of us, because our parents did not tell us that they were actually sexually assaulted or molested when they were a child, we wonder why they were always trying to protect us from certain things. But because we don't talk about it, you don't know if your mom's mom was sexually assaulted. You don't know if your mom herself was sexually assaulted as much as you were sexually assaulted. And that's a pattern, that's a cycle. And in order to break that cycle, our mouth has to be unmuffled. In order to break that cycle, we have to put shame to the enemy, to let the enemy know, okay, I understand that this is what has happened to me, but I'm not going to be a victim of what happened to me. I'm going to be a product, so I'm going to talk to my daughter about it. I'm going to let her know. And surprisingly, the conversation went so well. Like, I'm so surprised that she's like, okay, mom, I understand that this happened to you. Now I understand why you say this. Now I understand why you say that. I'm like, she's like, yeah, I understand. I'm like, she's like, okay, but I say all of that to say, if the Holy Spirit is nudging you, if you're someone that has been sexually assaulted or molested and you have a daughter, and they have reached to a certain age where you can have certain conversation with them, it will be, let it be fully led by the Holy Spirit for you to actually talk to that person. And it took so much out of me to actually tell her with regards to what happened. But after I had that conversation, it's like I felt such a release, because he was burdening me to tell her. Like, I was putting it at the back of my mind, and he's like, tell her. And I'm just super grateful that the conversation turned out way better than I ever thought it would have.